going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Swigger, and I have another League of Legends commentary for you guys, featuring the one and only SKT1's Faker from the LCK. He's actually playing Lee Sin. Of course, his name doesn't say SKT1 Faker. It is a different account, but Hide on Bush playing as Lee Sin is in fact Faker. He's actually playing with a couple other people from SKT1, especially SKT1 support player Wolf, but he's going up against SKT1's Bang in the Lulu up in the top lane, which should be kind of interesting because Bang being the ADC for SK Telecom, but he is going to be playing Lulu in the mid lane. Sorry, yeah, it's not even in the top lane, it's in the mid lane. So, sorry, Trundle is up in the top lane, but we have seen Faker play Lee Sin in the mid lane, and he was incredible on it. Showed a lot of prowess, a lot of landed skill shots, which I think is the most impressive thing, is he just didn't seem to miss skill shots. So I'm curious to see how Faker does in the jungle. Everybody has kind of been displaying Faker as the best League of Legends player in the world, at least the best mid laner in the world. So I'm going to be interested to see how he can translate his skills into the jungle, whether or not he's going to be able to keep up with top tier junglers such as the Graves he's going up against. But definitely think he's going to at least put on a show with a playmaking jungler like Lee Sin. But also having the communication with somebody like Wolf on the bot side with the Ezreal should see a lot of action going here. But already in the bot lane, we have a lot of the Braum passes going down onto the Ezreal. Wolf and Ezreal having to run away. The Ignite currently ticking down onto the Ezreal. Braum using that one on him, but not going to kill him quite yet. Braum trying to get in the last auto attack with the flash, but it looks like Wolf is just going to sacrifice his own life. And it looks like Bang is going to pick up his own teammate, his own support teammate, and pick up first blood for the mid lane Lulu. It's one of those things that we had kind of discussed in previous High ELO commentaries. When you're facing a Lucian and a Braum, the passive that Braum can put onto his targets can be procced so easily from Lucian's passive, allowing for 2 auto attacks per shot. But it looks like we have the first gank coming in from Faker on Bang. The Ignite going down from TF, and it looks like Lulu might just be dead here. She already used her flash to try to get away from that first gank. Well, actually to get into the first gank, but it looks like Faker making up his first kill of the game in the mid lane with the TF support. So it looks like Trundle going up against this Poppy. You're going to put an excellent pillar down, forcing the Poppy to run all the way around, getting that Grasp of the Undying going to make sure that the Trundle stays healthy. Also utilizing that passive that when minions die around him, he's gaining, I think, about 2% of the HP from it. But it looks like Trundle now getting ganked by Faker. A lot of damage is going to go down onto Faker. They're going to take a lot of minion damage as well. Faker having to run away a little bit from this one. Trundle being just so damn tanky with the Grasp of the Undying as well. It looks like Faker is going to get flashed on, and Trundle's going to pick up the double kill in the top lane. Just one of those scenarios where there were so many minions up in the top lane for that Trundle. And the thing was, when the minions were pushing the red team's minions, when they were dying, Trundle was gaining health off of that, plus the Grasp of the Undying, plus the minions doing damage to Lee Sin and also to the Poppy. Just ended up being too much for them to deal with. So looks like Trundle gonna be someone to mess with. 2-0-0 going back, picking up that pickaxe, and sadly looks like Faker's just gonna have to kind of go back here. But Faker is gonna find Graves in the jungle. Graves currently sitting with double buff, but Faker does not have that anymore, so just gonna have to put down a ward and safeguard away, having that tracker's knife to try to get out of that one. TF now gonna come and make his appearance known, but it looks like Braum also here to try to support his friendly Lee Sin. Graves not going to allow anything else to happen in that jungle, but never a good sign that at 4.5 minutes into the game, the enemy jungler is kind of making your jungle his own. So we're going to have to see what Faker can do to maybe get a little bit more pressure on this Graves, or at least to kind of reclaim the jungle as his own. We're already seeing that the Graves is going right back in to Faker's jungle to take down his Raptors. But while that's going on, Faker kind of wrapping around trying to make something happen onto this Lulu, but I guess knows that the Graves is very close by, so looks like Faker just going to go and do the standard thing, which is if your Raptors are being counter-jungled, you counter-jungle the enemy Raptors. So it's basically just a fairly standard jungle right now. Both junglers just kind of doing their own thing, even though it's in the opponent's jungle. Now Trundle once again going fairly aggressive onto this Poppy. Graves is now here, is going to get the red buff proc off. The Poppy does not have flash, so they are going to try to dive this one. Grasp of the Undying keeping the Trundle still very, very much alive. And it looks like we have a 3-man gank in the mid lane on this Lulu. The gold card is going to come out, the safe card coming out as well from the Lee Sin. He is going to get slowed by the Tempest and the Cripple. Is it going to be enough? One more auto attack. The flash coming out of Faker is going to be enough to solidify that kill in the mid lane onto Lulu. So looks like SKT1 really not showing any favors here to their own teammates. Bang is kind of getting camped here by Faker and also now Wolf, but it looks like also the Braum doing a lot of damage to Jin Air's Sweeter on that Ezreal. Braum just being so strong right now, and also having the threat of the Ignite, Ezreal just couldn't really put up with him. It looks like now finally after a couple more kills, everybody's just going to kind of reset here, but already an over 1,000 gold lead in favor of the blue side here at only 6 minutes into this game. We of course noticed just one thing I'd like to talk about is first of all that there are 4 pink wards on the red side, in the red side's inventory right now. That's exactly what you need to do when you're a little bit behind here. If you are behind, one of the best things that you can do is get your ward coverage solidified. Make sure that your camps in your jungle belong to you and that you are not going to be ganked and snowballed on. So very smart idea getting those 4 pink wards very early into this game. But Faker's Lee Sin picking up that Tracker's Knife while also keeping the yellow trinket. Just so important for Lee Sin because you do have the ability to use that safeguard on a ward, which is basically like a almost like a faux flash, really. So being able to use that on cooldown with 4 additional wards makes it very difficult to catch Faker, but it also allows him to engage on a much longer range, right? He can safeguard to a ward, then get his Q off, and then take his Q into the opponent. So there's definitely a lot that Faker could do with that, and I'm excited to see what he makes out of those 4 wards. But we're just kind of back to a CSing game here. Not really too much to talk about in the CS department. There is a bit of a lead in favor of the Trundle, almost 10 CS. But the same thing can be said for TF in the mid lane over SKT1's Bang. But then the same thing can be said for the Lucian in the bot lane, 52 to 42. And also in the jungle, Graves having a bit of a lead on SKT1's Faker. A little bit of damage coming out onto the Lucian. The TF is going to pop his ultimate to get in onto this Lucian. A lot of damage going down. He does not have... Oh, sorry, the Ignite is currently burning on him, but it's not currently going to be enough. Bang coming into support on this fight. He does have his wild growth available, so he can use this. Is going to use the wild growth immediately. Looks like TF is going to be taken down. Wolf trying to get in there with a flash pulverize, but it looks like Lee Sin is now here. Faker's going to try what he can to take these people down, but they just get so low, and it's not actually going to be enough to clean anybody up. Sadly, Faker only level 5, not level 6, so he can't get that Dragon's Rage off for the execute damage, but he did just hit level 6, so we got to see if Faker wants to do anything here. Taking a couple turret shots, which is going to get him a little bit low, maybe a little bit worried about this turret dive now, but Wolf is going to get the flash, sorry, the headbutt pulverized in, the kick coming down onto the Lucian, not going to be enough to actually pick him up, and not going to knock the Braum up either, but it looks like Lee Sin is going to be able to pick up a kill with that Tempest. Bang currently with the Q on him, the Ezreal ultimate is coming out, and Faker's going to get it for the double kill, going to be enough to pick off that Lulu on that one, just managing to get the Ezreal ultimate off to get him low enough that Lee Sin could follow through, even through the shield of the Lulu, managing to pick that one up. So once again, Faker just showing his mechanics on this Lee Sin. A little bit aggro, I've got to say, but that's exactly how Faker plays. So very, very well done. I think all in all, that was a 2-for-1 exchange. TF did go down in favor of the blue team, but they did manage to lose their Lucian and also their Lulu on that one. Only Braum escaping with his life. And Faker's now looking at the red buff. He does have Smite available, so going to gain a lot of health back from that Smite, and he's going to get a solid counter jungle on that Graves, picking up that red buff, but is it going to be enough to bring Lee Sin back into this game? I think so, because he's currently sitting at 4-1-0. Didn't have a fantastic start in the early game, but definitely made up for it with that bottom lane gank. It was a great headbutt pulverized from the Alistar as well. I believe he flash pulverized to get that whole fight started in the beginning, but then a great headbutt pulverized on 2 members of the blue team. Just made sure that Lee Sin and Ezreal could follow up with their skill shots. It looks like up in the top lane though, Poppy having a little bit of a hard time here. Trundle already sitting at 3-0-0, has the pickaxe and another longsword with a ruby crystal. Might see that turned into a phage a little bit later on. But Poppy going the very standard Poppy build. Has the Bomby Cinder already picked up with the Corrupting Potion. Probably going to see that turn into a Sunfire Cape very soon. And then once you have that Sunfire Cape, they tend to go for something like an Iceborne Gauntlets. Gives them a solid amount of wave clear, gives them a solid amount of armor, and also cooldown reduction. So Poppy normally sitting pretty after that. They might want to engage on this bottom lane here, knowing that the Braum is only level 5, while Wolf and Ezreal both being, well, level 6 and level 7 respectively. So they might want to make something happen here. Wolf is going to go in, trying to get the pulverize on, but the W coming out from the Braum is going to get him into safety. Looks like right now Lulu getting ganked by the Poppy. TF sadly just couldn't get in range of that gold card. The stun from Poppy just not landing the Lulu against the wall. So couldn't really chain the stuns on that one, but definitely a nice little roam. Poppy already being a little bit far behind, but looks like the ultimate ultimate coming out from the TF is going to stun the Poppy down. Lee Sin is going to land his Q, but not going to go through on that one. Not having any vision of the Graves or anything along those lines makes dives like that in between two turrets very, very risky. So I like the idea from Poppy, though. If you're this far behind in your lane right now, not a bad idea to try to roam, try to get some pressure on another lane, maybe try to pick up some assists or some kills to give yourself some gold, so that way when you go back up to the top lane, she didn't lose any farm really. The farm is now just getting underneath her turret, so can farm that up pretty easily, but utilizing that time to try to make something happen in the lane. But looks like Faker does want to get a kick off onto this Lucian. A lot of damage, kicking the Braum actually into the Lucian, but it looks like we have the Trundle here after using the TP to get down to this lane, but Trundle's going to get picked off as well. Lee Sin picking up his 5th kill of the game and having 2 assists as well. That was a 3-for-0 trade, and also burning the Trundle TP. It's normally not that big of a deal if Trundle uses his TP and doesn't really make anything out of it, but since the Trundle was doing so well in that top lane against the Poppy, this is now giving Poppy the opportunity that she needs to get back into this game. I'm giving her a certain amount of free farm, being able to do this without any pressure, but while all this is going on, we have the Lulu taking a lot of damage from the TF, and that's just going to be a very clean kill. Locking in those gold cards, making sure that the Thunderlord's Decree goes off, doing a lot of damage, not even needing the Ignite, but sadly Lulu just getting her wild growth back up, just not in time to deal with that one. Graves is trying to chase down Faker, but not going to make anything happen there. Faker just being a little bit too strong here. Already has the Warrior enchantment completed on his Tracker's Knife, but it's mirrored by the Graves, who also has that Warrior's enchantment done, with also the Boots of Swiftness. So going for a little bit more roaming through the jungle. It looks like the Graves wants to make some ganks happen, making sure that he's moving very quickly throughout the jungle. We see actually a couple of very deep pink wards here. We see this deep pink ward here. Should be not spotted for quite some time, but it looks like Wolf, wanting to try to make something happen on this Lucian again, is going to miss the pulverize to take a lot of damage for his troubles. We do have the TP coming in from Bang, though. Lulu is going to be here for some support. Ezreal taking a lot of damage, but it looks like Poppy is here as well with her TP. Ezreal is going to get locked up by the Braum, but isn't going to be enough to pick him up. The Ignite going down, and Braum is going to pick up that kill while Poppy is trying to take down the Lucian, but it's not going to be enough. The wild growth coming out of the Lulu is going to keep him alive, and Graves coming in to pick up an assist on that one. Just an overall, I think, kind of sloppy fight from the red side. I don't think Poppy should have been going for that Lucian at all. I think she should have been trying to work on peel for the Ezreal, but sadly it turned into a 3v4. Nothing they could really do about that. But while all this is happening, TF going to use his ultimate up in the top lane. Lee Sin taking a lot of damage, is going to kick the Trundle into the turret, but sadly not going to take any turret aggro. They're going to have to juggle this Trundle because he is doing a mad amount of damage, but they do a great job at it. Lee Sin landing his Q and following up with that, going to be his 6th kill of the game and taking down that Trundle. So right now, Faker is unstoppable. Wolf taking a lot of damage from the Lulu, but TF getting some great ultimates here, currently 1, 1, and 5. But every time he seems to use his ultimate, he seems to pick up a kill or an assist. But since they knew that Faker was up in the top lane, Graves is going to use that opportunity to go and try to take down the dragon, and is going to secure the first dragon of the game for the blue side. Looks like Lulu jumping in onto the, using her flash to jump in onto the Alistar, not knowing that he had his ultimate available, and it looks like this is going to be a kill. SKT1's Wolf killing SKT1's Bang. It was just great bait on the Alistar's part. Lulu flashed in to try to get the kill onto Alistar, but popping that unstoppable, sorry, what is the Unbreakable Will? There it is, Unbreakable Will. Popping that Unbreakable Will, making sure that he wasn't going to take that much damage, survived it to headbutt pulverize the Lulu for the TF cleanup, but looks like Wolf picking up his 2nd kill of the game. And we see with Wolf's build, building that the Moby boots very, very early, and also enchanting them very, very early with the cooldown reduction on the flash, because of course you want to go for those flash headbutt pulverize plays or the flash pulverize headbutt back plays. Very important on Alistar, but Lee Sin, Faker knowing what he needs to do, going for this Rift Herald while they have a little bit of time, and they are going to secure now a 3,000 gold lead and the Rift Arrow buff, which Faker is going to take for himself. I'm going to probably try to provide some pressure in some other lanes, but Faker, knowing that this blue buff is up and now seeing that the Lucian is here, he does have his ultimate available as well, is just going to follow it through. Just a simple kill for Faker, already sitting there with his Warrior enchantment and also a Tiamat. So just the amount of damage coming out of Faker right now, the Lucian just cannot deal with. Just got ultied and then followed up with, but it looks like Faker caught a little bit out of position here. He's going to start fighting the Braum, is going to have to safeguard away and have to flash over over the Trundle pillar. Sadly, already used that safeguard to the ward to try to get out, but didn't expect the Trundle to be there with a follow-up pillar. Looks like the red team is now going to try to transition this pressure into the mid lane, try to maybe get some damage down onto this mid lane turret. Second tier turret taking a lot of damage with the Rift Herald buff minions, but Faker trying to jump to the Raptors, but sadly they are not there. Looks like the blue team trying to collapse in on this one. Wolf going to be the first target, the first person in line really. Looks like the TF stun gonna come out, but only gonna land onto the Braum shield. The pulverize from the Alistar not landing is going to get locked down as well, but the Unbreakable will coming out, getting him out of this one. This is a very long chase here, but while all this is happening, the flank coming up from Poppy, the ultimate going down onto the Graves. They currently do have an advantageous fight, but right now Poppy trying to lock down the ultimate, the Trundle, but the ultimate going to come out from the Trundle, taking away all of Poppy's stats, and Braum is going to pick up that one. Sadly, it wasn't the Lucian with his culling, but Braum picking up his second kill of the game. It looks like now Lee Sin finding the Graves is going to pick up his 8th kill of the game. Faker just making this look easy, placing down wards where he needs to, catching out a half HP Graves, not even requiring the Dragon's Rage ultimate, and it looks like it was perfect timing to kill the Graves as well because his red buff was up again, so a 1-for-1 trade, but Ezreal was up in the top lane during that entire thing, pushing the second tier turret. Sorry, I haven't taken a breath this entire time. Was able to get a lot of damage onto the second tier top lane turret, and the TF and the Alistar just decided to rotate into the mid lane turret to get themselves the second tier mid lane turret. So we have a 4-to-1 turret advantage in favor of Faker's team on the red side, and he's doing a great job counter juggling where he needs to, making some solid ganks happen, and just I think really just dominating the map by himself with the help of the TF also. Those ultimates have been really pertinent for the double ganks of TF and Lee Sin. So we are seeing the Graves finally found that deep pink ward. We knew it wasn't going to go on forever. It was one of those things that eventually one of those teammates are going to walk through that brush, and they did finally find it. So free pink ward, a little bit less vision for the red team to work with. But we're sitting at a 33,000 to 27,000 gold lead. So a 6k gold lead in favor of this red team. But Graves is going to find the Ezreal, going to try to get some damage off on him. The Braum is going to land his Q, but it looks like while all that's happening, Lucian is going to get picked up by 3 members of the red team. Ezreal's trying to escape this one, having to burn his flash and his heal to try to get away, but it is not going to be enough. He is going to be taken down by the Graves, and now it looks like the Trundle following up onto SKT1's Wolf. Poppy is now here, just trying to take down 2 members. The Braum taking a lot of damage from the TF. Poppy is not going to get the kill. The flash coming out of the Braum over the Baron wall is going to get him to safety for right now, but the chase is on from TF. He does not have his ultimate available to try to follow this one up. They are now on the hunt for Braum, but the blue team is going to try to make something happen here. TF is going to get engaged on by this Trundle, but Wolf coming in again. The headbutt pulverize is just landing flawlessly, and now the kick coming out from Lee Sin. Not going to land the Q though. The Sonic Wave not connecting onto the Grave, so he can't make any follow-up plays, but Wolf once again just kind of eyeing out his prey, seeing if he wants to go in on this. Faker with a great little flank here. They do have 3 members, but it looks like the Poppy is going to make a connect here. Sorry, I almost choked and died right when that was happening. While it's all happening, the Glacial Fissure comes out. Not going to be enough to pick up the Lee Sin quite yet, but the Lucian coming back for the end-all, be-all of that fight is going to be enough to pick up that Faker, getting a huge shutdown for his team, but I can't believe getting choked right at that exact moment. That's kind of what happens when you drink some water and then you don't swallow it properly, but a lot of action happening in that past couple minutes. A great flank coming from Faker, managing to land a Q onto the Lulu, but then safeguarding to the Poppy, who flash stunned the Graves against the wall to assist on that one, and then falling through on the Q to the Poppy. Very, very cool play. We're seeing Faker building that Titanic Hydra, so probably going to be going for a lot more HP at this point to have that thing stack even further, but works very well with the Warrior Enchantment and the Tracker's Knife, but also going for the Quicksilver Sash very early, and it's the same thing with the Poppy. 2 Quicksilver Sashes that have been picked up incredibly early. I'm trying to think of what they're really trying to get taken off. I think it's mostly the Trundle ultimate that they can Quicksilver Sash out of. Because I think there's nothing really else. It might be the Braum stun if it happens, but it looks like we have a fight between the ADCs. A lot of the culling shots are missing, but Bang is here for support, and that's going to be a very clean pickup. Ezreal might have been able to fight that Lucian. Fairly even scorelines, but not really anymore. 3-4 and 4 for the Lucian. Already having that Essence Reaver completed and also a Zeal to back that one up, while the Ezreal is currently sitting on his Mirror Mana and also the Iceborne Gauntlets, but still trying to get the Mana Mune out of that one. We are currently looking at the second dragon for the blue team. It's still a fairly late second dragon, but it looks like Lee Sin trying to make something happen here. The TF is here, but the Dragon's Rage Kick is going to come out immediately from Faker, just trying to make sure that he doesn't get collapsed on here too badly, but Trundle is going to land a pillar, going to slow down Faker and also Wolf, but not going to be enough for them to actually jump in on this one to make a 5v4 fight. It would actually be a 5v3 fight considering that the Poppy is currently top lane, but you can never underestimate that teleport coming in from the Poppy and making it a 5v4. The blue buff is currently available, and it looks like the red side is going to try to take this one. I'm surprised that the blue team is kind of falling over so easily from this one. They have a man advantage on this red team, but they're just letting Faker and Poppy kind of run amok in their jungle, take the buffs that they want, and get out of there cleanly. The Rift Herald, sorry, it is actually the Baron, I believe now. Yeah, it is. And we are seeing some pings, so I wonder if the blue team is going to look for a Baron buff very early into this game. Faker is going to try to land a Q onto the Graves, but it is not going to connect. We do have 5 members of the team. Trundle a little bit far away, but it looks like Lee Sin going in onto this Graves is going to actually bait out the wild growth from Lulu. That is a big cooldown that they now don't have to work with for the possible team fight. Once again, we have TF using his ultimate. Don't know if he's going to collapse in, but he is going to collapse in onto the Lucian. It was only a red card that was locked in though. The Ignite going down, the Thunderlord's proc is going to land, and that's going to be enough to pick him up. A huge 4-man Alistar Pulverize is going to land on everybody from the remaining blue side members, and it looks like Trundle taking a lot of damage, is going to have to flash over the wall for that one to make sure that he survives. A huge play coming up from Wolf. It looks like Wolf might want to try to get in on this one, but the Pulverize is going to miss onto the Lucian, and it looks like the red team picking up 2 kills for the price of none. It was a great Pulverize coming out of Wolf. But we've got to say, even though it was a red card that the TF locked in, definitely not the best thing to have happened. It would have been probably a lot smoother with the gold card, but still, the Thunderlord's proc with the Ignite was enough to pick up that Lucian. And now we're looking at possibly a Baron for this red team. Faker doing a lot of damage, including the Poppy damage. Oh, Bang being just taken down so quickly. The Wild Growth coming out, and it looks like the Braum Shield is going to be enough to keep Bang alive, but the Poppy ultimate is going to lock the Trundle down, and that is going to be the Baron for the red team. But the Culling coming out, doing a lot of damage, trying to pick off the low health Alistar, but not going to be enough. Going to get blocked by Poppy, and now it looks like all 5 members of the red team are going to have the Baron buff for the next couple minutes. I'm going to be interested to see how they translate this into turret pressure, but we're already seeing a bit of turret pressure with this gigantic minion wave in the bot side, but luckily Bang being there just in time is going to have enough damage to probably clear these out with 1 Glitter Lance, maybe 2. So currently looking at the CS scores, we still have a very substantial CS lead in favor of the Trundle, 175 to 140. Fairly big lead in the jungle, 112 to 91 in favor of Graves over Faker, but a gigantic lead, 187 to 132 in favor of the TF on the red side, and then 140, 155 in the bot side. Not too bad between the ADCs, and then very even amongst the supports. So not huge gold disparities in terms of CS. But it looks like TF gonna try to get in onto Bang. The Wild Growth is available. Lee Sin is gonna be here, but wow, they are not even gonna need anything else. Just the damage coming out of TF with that Lich Bane, the needlessly large rod, the additional Blasting Wand, and also the Zonia's Hourglass gonna be enough to take down that fairly squishy Lulu, who currently only has a Lich Bane completed with a Fiendish Codex and her Ionian Boots of Lucidity. Yeah, TF is currently just very, very strong. But it looks like, oh, the collateral damage coming out of the Graves to try to get through the wall, but is going to get completely interrupted by the stun coming out of Poppy. Lee Sin is now here to support the friendly TF, but he is going to get stunned up by the Braum. The connect from the Culling from the Lucian is going to be enough to pick up the TF, and it looks like Quicksilver Sash going to come out of Lee Sin. Faker's going to try to get out of this one, but Flash is going to come out, and that's going to be a double kill for the Lucian. Just too much damage for Faker to deal with, and sadly, yeah, the TF just got taken by surprise there, getting stunned up very quickly by the Braum passive, and Lucian going to pick up a double kill in the bot lane, setting his score at 5, 5, and 4 over the 1, 3, and 6 Ezreal. But a very, very nice play from that Poppy, stopping the Graves from going from using the collateral damage, the movement backwards to get him through that wall. Very, very nicely done. Ezreal now going to have to try to escape this one. Does not have his Arcane Shift available. He now has it available and is going to get away from this one, having to flash over the wall as well. But Wolf, now in a little bit of a precarious spot, is just going to lay down a ward and use his headbutt through the Raptor Pit. Very, very nice play, but sadly having to use a pink ward for that one. Hopefully they won't notice that for a while, but not providing the best vision, but giving him an escape path without having to burn flashes, always worthwhile, even if you lose a pink ward out of it. So the current kill score 19 to 13, 49.3k to 40.8k. We are just so close to having that that tilt factor of the 10k gold lead in favor for this red team. They played the entire map incredibly well. Ezreal's now picking up the red buff. They do still have the Baron buff, I believe, on a couple members of this team. Pape being one of those members who is currently pushing the bot lane. It looks like Alistar also having the Baron buff, but it looks like it just ended, which is kind of unfortunate because they had a decent sized minion wave looking at that mid wave. But it looks like the ultimate coming out from TF, but Wolf is going to be here for support. But they have a lot of blue team members coming in on this one. Wolf taking a lot of damage, but Lee Sin here for support against this Trundle, who is currently absolutely gigantic, doing a lot of damage to the TF, but only taking about a quarter of his HP down. TF going to pick up a kill on the Trundle, the first kill of this team fight. Lee Sin is going to land his Q onto the Graves, but doesn't have his Dragon's Rage to actually follow up on this one. The culling coming out, but a lot of the damage landing on the tanky members of Alistar and also Poppy, but all that going down. It looks like the TF was able to pick up the inhibitor turret of the blue side top lane, and now Wolf coming in onto the Graves, but a great dash is going to keep him alive for a little bit longer, but a triple kill coming in for Faker, a quadra kill coming in for Faker, following up on all of his Qs. Sadly, just didn't pick up that first kill onto the Trundle. I don't believe it was TF who picked that one up, and that would have been an unofficial pentakill. But Faker, with barely any HP, gets a quadra kill at the end there. So guys, as we could see, SKT1's Faker, even on Lee Sin in the jungle, is a phenomenal player, just making all these ganks work, especially with the coordination with SKT1's Wolf against their own ADC SKT1 Bang in the mid lane. Definitely a fantastic game from Faker, ending the game off at 14, 3, and 7. Very well played by the red team. If you guys did enjoy this high elo commentary, definitely let me know in the comment section below, and show that like button a little bit of love. Share this video with your friends. Maybe they'll enjoy it as well. If you guys want to interact with me a little bit more, and if you want to know when I release a video or when I stream live League of Legends, follow me at TwiggerLol on Twitter. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you enjoyed content like this and want to see more. And ladies and gentlemen, as I always say, see you guys in the next video.